Welcome to IELTS Learning Path, your go-to channel for all things IELTS. Get comprehensive IELTS preparation resources, expert tips, practice tests, and strategies to achieve your dream band score. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss an update. Let's master the IELTS together. Here is a comprehensive sample paper for the IELTS listening test, designed to help you familiarize yourself with the format and improve your skills. So let's go.
You will hear a conversation between a student and a university librarian about borrowing books. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 6. Now listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 6.
Good morning. How can I help you today?
Hi, I need some help with borrowing books for my research project. I'm not sure how many books I can borrow at a time.
You can borrow up to 10 books at a time. If you need more, you can request special permission, but 10 is the standard limit.
Great, thanks. And how long can I keep the books?
The loan period is 3 weeks for undergraduate students, but you can renew them online for an additional 3 weeks if no one else has requested them.
That's helpful. Can you tell me what I need to bring to borrow books?
You'll need your student ID card. It's important to have it with you every time you check out books.
Got it. I also heard something about borrowing ebooks. Is that possible?
Yes, we have a large collection of ebooks that you can access from our library website. You'll need your university login credentials to download or read them online.
Excellent. I'm working on a project that requires some specific reference books. Are there any restrictions on borrowing reference materials?
Yes, reference books can only be used within the library. They can't be checked out because they are in high demand and need to be accessible to everyone.
I see. I'll make sure to use them here then. Thanks for the information.
You're welcome. If you have any more questions, feel free to ask.
Now you have some time to check your answers. Now listen to the conversation again and answer questions 7 to 10.
One last thing. Is there a fine for overdue books?
Yes, the fine is 50 cents per day for each overdue book. If you're late returning an ebook, the system automatically restricts your access until the fine is paid.
That's good to know. And what should I do if I lose a book?
If you lose a book, you'll need to report it to us as soon as possible. You'll be responsible for the replacement cost, which varies depending on the book.
I'll be careful not to lose any, but it's good to know what to do just in case. Thanks again for all your help.
Anytime. Good luck with your project.
That is the end of Part 1. You now have some time to check your answers. You will hear a tour guide giving a tour of a historic building. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 15. Now listen carefully and answer questions 11 to 15.
Welcome to Harwood Hall, one of the oldest and most beautiful buildings in our city. This building dates back to the 18th century and has been preserved in its original style. We'll begin our tour in the Grand Entrance Hall, which features stunning marble floors and an impressive chandelier. This chandelier was imported from Italy in the early 1800s and has over 2,000 crystals. As we move into the dining room, you'll notice the hand-carved wooden paneling that lines the walls. This room was used for formal dinners and has hosted many distinguished guests over the centuries. The table in the center is made of solid oak and can seat up to 20 people. Next, we'll visit the library, which houses over 5,000 books, some of which are rare first editions. The books are kept in climate-controlled cabinets to preserve their condition. This room also has a large fireplace, which was the main source of heat in the colder months. Finally, we'll end our tour in the garden. The garden was designed in the traditional English style, with neatly trimmed hedges and a variety of flowers that bloom throughout the year. It's a peaceful place to relax and enjoy the beauty of nature.
Now you have some time to check your answers. Pause for 30 seconds. Now listen to the tour again and answer questions 16 to 20.
Before we conclude, I'd like to point out a few additional features of Harwood Hall. First, there's a small chapel located on the grounds, which was used for private family ceremonies. The chapel is still in use today for special events. For those interested in art, the hall is home to a collection of paintings by renowned artists from the 17th and 18th centuries. These paintings are displayed in the gallery, which is open to the public. We also offer guided tours of the cellars, where you can see the original wine storage rooms and learn about the hall's wine production history. The cellars are only open during the summer months, so be sure to visit them while you can. Lastly, if you're feeling adventurous, you can explore the hidden passageways that run through the building. These passageways were used during times of conflict to move people and goods safely. Thank you for joining the tour. I hope you enjoyed learning about the history and architecture of Harwood Hall.
That is the end of Part 2. You now have some time to check your answers. You will hear a conversation between two university students, James and Sophie, discussing their group project on renewable energy sources. First, you have some time to look at questions 21 to 26. Now listen carefully and answer questions 21 to 26.
Hi, Sophie. Have you started working on our group project yet? We need to decide which renewable energy sources to focus on.
Hi, James. Yes, I've been doing some research. I think we should focus on solar and wind energy because they are the most widely used and have a lot of potential for future development.
That's a good idea. Solar energy is particularly interesting because the cost of solar panels has been decreasing, making it more accessible for people to install them on their homes.
Exactly. And wind energy is growing rapidly, especially in countries with large open spaces where wind farms can be built. We could look into how these two sources compare in terms of efficiency and environmental impact.
We should also consider the challenges associated with each. For example, solar energy is dependent on weather conditions, and wind energy can be unpredictable as well.
That's true. We could explore how advancements in technology are helping to overcome these challenges. I'll look into solar energy, and you can focus on wind energy. How does that sound?
Sounds like a plan. We should also gather some data on the current usage of these energy sources around the world. It would be useful to include statistics in our presentation.
Good idea. I'll check some reports and see what I can find. We should meet up again next week to share our findings.
Let's do that. I'll start gathering information on wind energy and its global usage. See you next week.
Now you have some time to check your answers. Now listen to the conversation again and answer questions 27 to 30.
Before we go, do you think we should include a section on the future outlook for these energy sources?
Definitely. It's important to show where the industry is heading and what advancements are being made.
I agree. There's a lot of innovation happening, like the development of more efficient solar panels and offshore wind farms. We could also mention the role of government policies in promoting renewable energy.
Yes, policies play a huge role in the adoption of renewable energy. Some countries are offering subsidies and tax incentives to encourage people to switch to renewable energy sources.
We should include examples of those policies in our presentation. It would make our project more comprehensive.
Absolutely. Let's make sure we cover everything so we have a strong project.
That is the end of part 3. You now have some time to check your answers. You will hear a lecture about the history of the Internet. First, you have some time to look at questions 31 to 40. Now listen carefully and answer questions 31 to 40.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today's lecture will cover the history of the Internet, from its early beginnings to the global network we rely on today. The Internet's origins can be traced back to the 1960s, when the United States Department of Defense funded a project called ARPANET. ARPANET was designed to enable researchers to share information and access remote computers. It was the first network to use packet switching, which is a method of breaking down data into smaller packets for transmission. In the 1970s, the development of TCP/IP protocols allowed different networks to communicate with each other, laying the groundwork for what would become the Internet. The adoption of these protocols was a key moment in the Internet's history, as it allowed for the expansion of the network beyond academic and military circles. The 1980s saw the rise of personal computers and the introduction of the World Wide Web. The web, invented by Tim Berners-Lee, revolutionized the way we access information by providing a user-friendly interface and a way to link documents together using hyperlinks. The web quickly became the most popular service on the Internet, leading to the rapid growth of websites and online content. By the 1990s, the Internet was becoming mainstream, with millions of people around the world going online for the first time. The commercialization of the Internet led to the rise of e-commerce, social media, and other services that are now an integral part of our daily lives. Today, the internet is a global network that connects billions of devices, enabling instant communication, access to vast amounts of information, and the ability to conduct business, socialize, and entertain ourselves from almost anywhere in the world.
That is the end of Part 4. You now have some time to check your answers.